Hi, this is Justin with Rolling Out Health IQ, where we discuss some of the major topics that are going to help heal your health, right? One of the things that we're going to talk about today is powerlifting and bodybuilding. I'm here with Oliver George. Oliver, it's nice to see you today. How are you doing?
It's good to see you too, Justin. I'm doing fantastic.
I want everyone to just get a sense of who you are and what you've done in the world of bodybuilding and powerlifting. Could you please just give them a whole spiel of kind of your resume?
Sure. I competed in powerlifting at the United States Military Academy at West Point in the late 80s, 85 to 89, 165-pound class. I was your typical 135-pound weakling when I started, and due to my weight training, I went up in powerlifting and was New York State champion one time, won a couple of regional shows and won some events at the Academy. Just continued to weight train through life, and then in the early 90s, I lived in Florida, and I said I wanted to be a bodybuilder, and I started out in the lightweight class. And the lightweight class is about 130 something on stage. That's after bulking up and dieting down. And eventually, I grew into the heavyweight class, and that's all from eating, training, and just living a pretty clean lifestyle. Competing in the NPC, I won a state show, won some regional shows, and the best I ever did nationally was at the NPC Team Universe, which is a national contest for natural athletes to turn pro. And the best I did there was top 10. So happy with that. Took a long break away from competition, and then 2 years ago I came back on the powerlifting side, doing the deadlift and the strict curl, and since that time, three-time world champ in strict curl with 365 powerlifting organization, 365 Strong, and then also there's one called the Extreme Powerlifting Coalition, and I did well at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Fitness Festival last year at their World Games. So coming up, I'll be competing there again. I also competed in the strict curl at the Mr. Olympia, so I'll do that again this year. And I'll be back in a couple of world competitions with various organizations.
Nice.
I'm doing okay to be an older masters
No,
athlete. I'm
brother,
doing all right.
listen, hey, look, talk your talk, man. I mean, world champion. You know what I mean? That's awesome. That's awesome. So help me out here. The purpose of this is to try to inspire others who may want to be like you or may want to get started or want some tips on how to actually put on weight, sculpt their body, maybe do some powerlifting. So I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions, gym tips or whatever. What are 3 points of advice that you would give to someone who might feel intimidated just going into a gym for the first time? Let's just start there.
Okay, we all started somewhere, and we're all working on something. And when I first walked into the gym, like I said, I weighed 130 something pounds. And so your why or your want has to be stronger than your internal fear or the intimidation you feel about walking in and seeing everybody else who seems to be in the flow of things. You eventually you'll get into the flow of things. That's just the way it is. If you step in the gym, if you have the courage to step in the gym and at least get some advice, maybe get a one-on-one trainer, or just read everything and pay attention to what people are doing. As you start to work out, your confidence is going to grow, but you have to take action. You got to take the first step. So that's the first thing I would say. You have to you have to take action. Take that first step into the gym and just put your intimidation or your fears behind you, because what you want to achieve with your body and your health is greater than that initial intimidation. You have to realize that and take that step. Two other things. The gym is where you put in your hard work and your sweat equity. So don't go in there on a mission. I go in the gym so many times a day, and I see people on their phones and doing other things and acting like it's a social bar. And I can get in 3 or 4 sets because I'm in there on a mission while somebody's still flipping stuff on their phone. When I'm tracking stuff on my phone, I'm usually finding some motivational, inspirational music or someone to listen to, feeding positive things into my mind. That's when I'm flipping into the phone, and that only takes a few seconds. The rest of the time, I'm on a mission. You should be on a mission because you set your goals. You have to set your goals, and you have to have that vision. You have the vision where you want to be, you know? I'm gonna digress real quick because I had that. I'm gonna step back all the way back to the 8th grade. And back then, people used to get these t-shirts and they used to get like slogans, you know, ironed on to a man. Am I dating myself and that sort of time. But I was in the 8th grade. So if I weighed a buck 30 something, went up to a buck 40, maybe in high school. In the 8th grade, I must have weighed maybe 120 something. I had the vision of where I wanted to be. And even then I was doing some push-ups. I was getting some little muscles, tiny muscles. And on the back of my shirt, I had muscles put on there because people get slogans. Because that's what I was seeing me turn into in my head. And I'll never forget, and this is bad, an adult saw my shirt and said, "Where?" This is an educator that's supposed to be helping, you know, students and stuff. I never wore that shirt again. But in my mind, I said, okay, you say that now, wait till you see me 10 years from now. Because in the 8th grade, what are you, 14? I was thinking, you know what? You don't know who I am. Wait till you see me, you know, when I'm 24. And if I had bumped into that teacher when I was 24, she would have been trying to ask me out, seriously. And I would have been like, no,
Right.
thanks, that's all right. But we we all start somewhere. We all have to have a vision, and you know, we just have to set our goals and keep going for it. So that's two things. The last thing I would tell you is, you know, when you don't feel like going to the gym, it's so easy to get into a habit of procrastination. And I tell you, if you force yourself to go and do something, the endorphins your body releases will make you feel better. See, that's the thing. It takes courage to step in the gym and get started. But once you start working out, the way your body is built, it will release endorphins, hormones that make you feel better. And after a while, that's how you get hooked into the gym or some type of physical activity, because your body wants to release those endorphins so you can feel good. Your body wants to make you feel good. You're not supposed to be dragging around in the state. I've sat in the office all day. I've been in this chair all day. Now I'm dragging around the house. I'm so tired, and I'm eating the wrong diet. No, no, no. You gotta do something. Get in there, get physical, and then your body is going to reward you with how it shapes itself, how your strength increases, and then the hormonal release. So you know what? Hey, I get high in the gym. When I leave the gym, I haven't done any drugs, but I'm high as a kite, man. So that's, you know.
That's all right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
one that's one way to look at it.
yeah.
So how much protein do you really need? I mean, it's a question that, you know, comes up. I remember when I started my own personal fitness journey, and I'm eating protein. I'm thinking, you know, 150. I was 240 at the time. I was trying to lose some weight. I was like, you know, maybe 150. I mean, you know, and then I got up into the 200s, and then
Yeah.
I got into the 300s, and what is your thought? What is your take on how much grams of protein you're supposed to have every
Well,
day to
I'm old
grow?
school. I'm okay, okay, to grow. Now you're being specific. Okay. So to maintain is 1 gram per body weight per pound. To grow is like 1.5 or more, depending on the workload that you're doing in the gym and how much rest you're getting and that sort of thing. That's what the rule used to be. Um, right now, a lot of what I do is instinctive now. You know, if I got a nutritionist, when I get back into bodybuilding, my diet will be tighter. But now for just general living purposes, um, I base my amount of protein that I take in just on how I'm feeling and what I'm craving. I know that's not good. I know that's not the scientific answer you wanted, but with my diet, I just make sure I eat tons of fish, tons of chicken. They're all lean sources of protein. And then when I want to bulk up more, I make sure I get steak and lamb, because the way your body is made, and you know what? There may be some gurus that don't,
It's all, no,
agree with what I'm
it's
saying.
all, look, you are proof. The proof is in your pudding, so don't
Okay.
worry about it.
But you talk to some of us old school bodybuilders, and what you'll find is the source of protein that you eat helps transform your body. So if I want a more lean physique, then I take in lean sources of protein in large amounts. And that's the type of physique that I'll develop with the fish, the chicken, even though I'm taking in large quantities, and it can be 1.5 grams per pound, it can be 2 grams, it can be 3 grams, is how much food I can shove in here every 2 to 3 hours. The physique you see start to form will have the round muscle bellies and grow, but you'll have a leaner physique. When I want that thick quality type of muscle develop, eat a lot of steak. Still eat your fish and stuff, but eat more steak, eat more lamb, and you're I can't explain it, but I can tell you, I can see the body transformation when I look in the mirror.
Amazing. And let me ask you another question. Then we talk about carbs, carb cycling.
Okay.
Based on when you wake up, when you're most active, and then when you go to sleep. What is your thoughts on when to eat carbs to sculpt your body? Does it even matter, or is there is have you do
It
you
depends on what I'm doing in the portions. Okay, so if I were getting ready for a bodybuilding contest, I would have some type of complex carb with every meal. I might have my fist is what I use as a measurement. So my portions are different now because I'm trying to lean out. So my protein is the amount of protein I take in is about this size. Um, I can take the same circle, and that's how much rice should be on my plate, a handful, whatever my complex carb is. And then as far as my fibrous carbs, that doesn't matter. I could eat as much greenery as I want. And if I eat that type of meal every 2 to 3 hours, and I get in 4 meals, 5 meals, then I'm gonna have a lean muscular body. You also need to be incorporating cardio in there somewhere, because you want to burn more calories than your body is actually consuming. And everything is going to work synergistically in order to build a physique that you want, as far as putting on quality muscle while reducing your body fat. And then you have to get some quality sleep so your body can recover and use all the nutrients that it's taking in during the daytime. During your sleep is when your body's recovering and growing. So if you're only getting 2 hours of sleep, or 4 hours of sleep, that's not working. You need to get in at least 6 minimum. At least that's my train of thought. If you get an 8, man, you got a great life. More power to you if you get an 8. Usually I'm running 6. I don't get 8 in until we get closer to the weekend, and that's why I love weekends.
I understand. So let me ask you a question now. Quickly, what are 5 beginner-friendly strength training exercises that you think are staples in order to get people comfortable and consistent in the gym?
Okay, I think the leg press is a great compound movement to do for your legs. And that will, as you start to handle more weight on the leg press, that gives you more confidence to get under the squat rack. And the squat rack is an excellent exercise for building your legs and your total body. When you're under the pressure of the weight on your shoulders, and you're going down and your form is correct and coming back up, it helps your entire body grow. Also with the deadlift, if you're doing the deadlift, the lifting heavy weight off the ground, using your whole body to pick it up and do it in a stable manner and putting it back down, your whole body is working in order to do that. So yes, your legs are working, your back is working, your stabilizer muscle groups around your major muscle groups are working to keep the body stable, and that's going to force your body to grow. So any compound exercises, and then you know what, I would get on start off on the machines too, because those are easy. Everybody can't do compound movements, and I know there have been points in my life when I've taken a long break, and then I go back into the gym. I'm always going to start out with the exercise equipment. So it may be, you know, the press on a machine, or the pec deck, the flies for the chest, or leg extensions, or leg curls, or a leg press that's on the machine, because then you're not worried about, you know, collapsing under weight or that sort of thing. So any of those pieces of equipment in the gym, that's a machine, I would recommend just trying it out, because they're all friendly. They're all friendly for you trying to isolate muscle groups and increase the size and shape of your muscles.
Here's a question for you. How much water are you supposed to drink a day?
You know what? 8 glasses a day is just um, that's kind of like a minimum. I mean, water is my favorite drink. At this point, nothing tastes better than water. When you're growing up as a kid, you want sodas and all that type of crap. But if you can just make yourself drink 8 glasses, 6 to 8, just start out slow. If you're one of these people that's caught up into, you know, alcohol, sodas, anything with sugars and flavoring, those are all your main drinks, then sometimes you have to work yourself into it. So cut your consumption of all those drinks in half and drink half water. So that may be 4 glasses of water, and the rest is whatever you drink. And eventually increase your water so that you're getting at least 8 glasses a day. And what you'll find out is that you start to crave water. You'll start to crave water, then you crave anything with sugar in it. Anything. The only thing that may, no, water's still my favorite drink. The second thing you may crave is, if you do a lot of caffeine, you know, caffeine is addictive, so you may crave caffeine. But as far as pure taste, your taste buds will change, and you will love water. And 8 glasses is nothing. You know, as long as you keep the water for, because your body's 70% water. So your body wants more water, and what you don't use is coming out anyway. So just, you know, just keep the water flowing. Just keep the water flowing.
Question for you. So there was a study that recently came out that said skeletal muscle was correlated with longevity in
Yes.
seniors. How often do you think seniors should work out in the gym in order to take advantage of living longer by
I
going
would
to
say
the gym?
a minimum of 3 days a week, because skeletal density is a proponent of longevity. And so, I mean, these studies are coming out now, but you know, those of us who started bodybuilding way back when, or powerlifting way back in, this is all old school information. You know, you look at the oldest guy in the gym who's hobbling around, and he's still, you know, how long has he been working out? Because he knows, you know, as your muscles grow and get denser, your skeletal structure has to become denser in order to support what you're doing. Just like any other sport, you know, you got to do stuff that's going to increase your skeletal density. So I would say at least 3 days a week. Get yourself in the gym, and what you'll find is, if you get in there 3 days a week, that's not going to be enough. At whatever age you start, I tell people right now, 65 or and older, just get in there, and you're going to want to keep coming back. When I had a personal training business in Dallas, I had a client that was 85 years old, 85. And I would run that guy through his paces, and we worked out together
Wow.
at least 4 days a week. You know, Harvey loved the gym. I mean, these habits will last you a lifetime.
And so a little insight. How do you know? A lot of people say feel the burn, right? But a lot
Right.
of people, there's a difference between feeling the burn and getting hurt.
Right.
How do you know when you've done something in the gym that's helping you achieve a goal?
Okay. I'm going to reverse that a little bit, and I'm going to say your body will tell you when you get hurt. You know what pain feels like. We all grew up with, unless you have that you know, that what is it, that, I don't want to say abnormality, but unless you have that condition where you don't feel pain,
Right.
you all know what pain feels like to a joint, to a muscle tear, a muscle sprain. We all know what that feels like, and that little voice in our head will tell us when we're getting close to that. So your goal is to have the mind muscle connection to, and even if you don't have it initially, you'll develop it. And how you start doing this is, when you're working a muscle, you think about what's happening to that muscle as it's moving, and you focus on trying to feel what's going on inside the muscle. And then eventually you'll start developing that connection between your brain and what your body is doing. So you know when your muscles are tiring out and it's a good pain versus on the verge of tearing. It's just like when you ran track. If you ever ran track, I ran track like and like junior high and part of high school. You know when your legs get so tired and they have just, you know, gassed out and you're wobbling around and you can barely walk. It's a different type of tire, but it's the same type of muscle exhaustion tire, you know. One is working what is it? Short fiber muscles, short fibers in the muscles. One is working, I think, long fibers. But it's the same type of tiredness. It's just you're just different, using two different types of apparatus to type the different types of muscle groups.
And,
So
and then to that point, once you've tired yourself out, there's always the reward that you give yourself. We talk about body work. I personally like to get into the whirlpool. I like to
oh
get
yeah,
into the
oh yeah,
sauna. I like to swim.
yes,
Not necessarily to work out, but just to get that range of motion back. Stretching,
yeah.
recovery. How do you recover, and how would you suggest someone starting out? How would you suggest they recover?
I think you all need to start. The beginner needs to stretch. You got to have some type of pre-workout warm up because you want to get the muscles warm. And then once you finish, you want to try to lengthen your muscles, because the longer your muscles are, the more room you have to grow. And you don't want to stiffen up, because if you keep, you know, in the gym, you break down muscle tissue, and with the breakdown of muscle tissue, you're releasing toxins into the body, toxins into the muscle, and they will continue to get tighter and tighter. And you've got to have some way to break up that buildup or whatever toxins you've released into your muscles. And you also need to stretch them out. So I would say stretch, basic stretches, and then you know, it helps to apply heat, whether it's in the hot tub, whether it's in the sauna. You know what I do sometimes? Sometimes I break out the Epsom salt. Is it Epsom salt? You know those baths? I make myself a bath, and I get my legs in there and everything, and
Yeah.
it's relaxing. And I'll stretch in the tub too. While I'm in the tub, I'm touching my toes and I'm leaning over. I'm feeling my hamstring stretch. Is a great thing. You feel your glute stretch. I mean, and even in the gym, sometime between sets, I'll stretch a body part. And with the mind muscle connection, I love feeling my muscles stretch on the back of my legs, from my hamstrings up into my glutes. It's a one. I mean, when you develop that awareness, and if you focus on it, everybody can develop this awareness. It's a wonderful thing when you feel those muscles stretching, and the more you stretch, the more flexible they get. So you can have a strong, fit, muscular body that's very flexible. You see some bodybuilders that are doing splits. They can still do flips, back flips. They can do splits and all that sort of thing. Especially some of the female athletes. Like guys, we started to let it go a little bit. I'm not as flexible as I used to be. You know, but some of these women in the gym, hey, check out, if you look at my Instagram page, I just had a post with OBC Bikini Pro.
What's your Instagram so the community knows?
My Instagram is Oliver C. George. That's it. My
Got it.
name, Oliver C. Like cat, Oliver C. George.
Got
I
it.
just posted with the Bikini Pro, and we're gonna do some workouts together. But I was watching her in the gym the other day. I'm like, man, I need to stretch more and start getting myself back together, because what I want, she's over 30. She's definitely over 30. And what she can do with her body is, you know, that comes from never stopping doing that sort of thing. I used to, it's hard, this may be hard for you to believe. I used to be able to do splits. I used to be able to I could do a split. I could do a split. I would not try to do splits right now because I'm not that flexible anymore. and I may pull something and totally be out of the gym. So I'm just saying, you know, anybody can get back in the habit of stretching again and get, because your body remembers. That's it. I know this is something you didn't ask me about, but if you've ever worked out before in your youth, your body remembers you working out from your youth. Our bodies are so smart. And even though it may take some gumption, it may take some drive to get back in the gym and be working out as an older individual, your body will reach back in its physical memory banks to when you were doing it as a teen or in college or whenever you last stopped, and it'll remember how it's supposed to produce again. It'll remember. And I've seen that. I've had to stop and start doing my career just, due to a military deployment here, something I was doing. And, I had to change my workouts where I was only using body weight and all that kind of stuff. But or either due to injury, whatever it was, your body always stores that information on how it's responded in the past and how it can respond again in that same manner. Your body is so much smarter than you think it is.
Oliver, this is amazing. Thank you so much for these tips for those trying to start out getting in the gym, and for those who may be in the gym and just want some pointers. We really appreciate your time. Best of luck with you and your competitions moving forward. I really appreciate the insights.
Thank you for having me, Justin. It's been a pleasure.
Of course, brother. Thank you so much.